Pakistani nuclear officials seemed pleased with the results, and when they returned to a hero's welcome in the capital, they boasted they were now prepared to deploy nuclear weapons on medium and short-range missiles, if need be, within days. The pictures of the blast show the face of the desert mountain changing color from the intense heat of the exploding underground device.
Without any trouble. One should not go under any illusion.
What is more important is survival. We know that this will cut into our bone, but we are prepared for that sacrifice.
Citizens of Pakistan, it is with feelings of greatest happiness and emotion that I send you my greetings. August the 15th is the birthday of the independent and sovereign state of Pakistan. It marks the fulfillment of the destiny of the Muslim nation, which has made great sacrifices in the past few years to have its homeland. Let us on this day humbly thank God for His bounty and pray that we might be able to prove that we are worthy of it.
And I'm sure, with your support and cooperation, I'm looking forward to making Pakistan as one of the greatest nations of the world.
The struggle for a free India began in 1857 with the War of Independence, where the Muslims played a major role, a role for which the British never forgave the Muslims. The Muslim response to the defeat was withdrawal from mainstream community life. It was the foresight and insight of a great leader, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, that brought to the Muslims the realization that their withdrawal would do irreparable damage to their future. It was Sir Syed Ahmad Khan who suggested the idea of a separate homeland for the Muslims. The British were not willing to give India its freedom. Muslims and Hindus joined together in the struggle for freedom, from Mahatma Gandhi to Muhammad Iqbal to Muhammad Ali Jinnah. All fought for the same cause, the end of the British Raj. In his presidential address of the All India Muslim League session at Allahabad in 1930, Iqbal emphasized how essential it was to have a separate Muslim state, at least in areas where Muslims were in the majority. Iqbal convinced Jinnah of the need for a Muslim homeland. Iqbal dreamed of an Islamic state with its laws and constitutions based on Islam. The Muslim League, at its annual conference in 1940, held at Lahore, formally announced the need and the demand for Pakistan. Jinnah took on the battle. Jinnah's vision for Pakistan was slightly different from Iqbal's. Jinnah saw Pakistan as a Muslim state without any distinction of caste, creed or sect, a state in which all would live with each other in peace.
His creation of Pakistan was based, first of all, on a feeling that Muslims in India could not get fair treatment. I think he was very keen to have equal opportunity for all Muslims, and I think that he felt that Muslims were being discriminated against by the Hindu.
What does it mean to say that Pakistan is a modern Islamic or Muslim state? How is its Islamic character to be reflected in its ideology and institutions of the state? These questions remain to be resolved. It was Jinnah's leadership and hard work that brought together all the Muslims of the subcontinent in their demand for a separate homeland. This finally convinced the British. On August the 14th, 1947, Muhammad Ali Jinnah gave the Muslims of India a land of their own. Shortly after its creation, Pakistan lost Jinnah. His death came at a time when Pakistan needed him the most. The nation's existence was precarious and its survival was tenuous. There was lack of leadership, a lack of resources, and imminent danger of an attack from India. The control of the country fell into the hands of leaders that were unprepared for the task.
Pakistan, instead of falling in the hands of the people, fell in the grasp of the feudals.
Pakistan has remained under martial law for 27 years out of its 50-year history. The tradition of military rule instead of a civilian government began in 1958 when Field Marshal Ayub Khan abandoned democracy and took over the country. It is ironic that a military dictator gave Pakistan its first constitution. During his rule, the nation prospered, but in the absence of a democratic process.
In many respects, President Ayub Khan's earlier years were perhaps the most productive and most dynamic period in the history of Pakistan. But they were not a period in which political institutions were developed. He tried to develop the local bodies and things of that nature, but that did not really work.
The nation became restless. Ayub Khan stepped down and General Yahya Khan took control. He promised a return to democracy and delivered free and fair elections. The loss of East Pakistan was another blow for the country, and that loss made its citizens rethink the issue of Pakistan's identity.
Fundamental difference between East Pakistan and West Pakistan was that in East Pakistan there were no landlordships. There were no big land holdings. The society was already comprising of a vast majority of poor people. And in West Pakistan, the hold of the feudal bureaucrat was very strong. This was the gulf between the two psyches, the psyche of East Pakistan and the psyche of West Pakistan. And I think we should have respected the will of the people, the larger will of the people. And surely Mujibur Rahman would have come and he would have abolished the Jagirs or the feudal fiefdoms. And that would have been for the good of the whole of the country.
Bhutto experimented with a mixture of Islam and socialism. To gain popularity with the masses, he announced the nationalization of industries and banks, a step that has stunted the subsequent economic growth and development.
The great achievement in some ways of Mr. Bhutto, Mr. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, was to destroy to a large extent the feudal system in agriculture in the Punjab. He did not do it in the Sindh, but he certainly gave it a devastating blow in the Punjab.
Bhutto's courtship with Islam and socialism backfired. After 6 years in office, he was replaced and eventually hanged. The nation once again fell victim to military rule. Operation Fair Play brought General Zia to power. Swearing on the Quran, he promised to hold elections within 3 months. He remained in power for 11 years. He claimed his authority in the name of Islam and in the guise of protecting Pakistan. His entire effort was, however, to retain power for himself. Zia spent little time on nation building. The Afghan war was a blessing for him that fueled his ambition. Pakistan's involvement in Afghanistan has left disastrous after effects.
When you talk about Ziaul Haq's Islamization, for myself, I think it was a complete charade.